And I only drink when I overthink. I only smoke when I drink. And I only drink when I overthink. I only smoke when I drink. And I only drink when I overthink. I only smoke when I drink. And I only drink when I overthink. I only smoke when I drink. And I only drink when I overthink. I smoke when I drink. And I only drink when I overthink. And I only think about you. And I only think about you. I only think about you. And I only think about you. I only think about you. Smoke when I drink, and I only drink when I overthink. I only smoke when I drink, and I only drink when I overthink. And I only think about you, 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 you. And I only think about you, 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 you. I only think about you, 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 you. And I only think about you, 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 you. I only think about you.
Another shot or two, the room spinning, head spinning, and I'm drowning about new women and young women. I
only smoke when I drink, and I only drink when I overthink, and I only think about you. Another thought of you, another shot or two, the room spinning, head swimming, and I'm drowning about new women and young women.
Is it real? Is it just a fantasy? 'Cause the unknown's pulling me. We could leave this place, freedom ours to
What's going on, everyone? Good morning, good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome back to another week of number go up, number go down. Let me know real quick how the background music is. Like I say, I always get comments on it's too loud, too low, my voice is too loud, too low, stuff like that. So let me know if everything's good. Rundown for today obviously is going to be the Bitcoin outlook, expectations for Q4. We haven't done a lot of like alt stuff all summer. I kind of just kept on repeating and regurgitating the same thing of what I was looking for as far as like trend flips go. We're getting those on so many altcoins right now. If you guys can see like the right side of my screen, the watch list, the ones that are like marked with pink are super clean setups that I like on high time frame. So we're going to go over those. And then, yeah, I kind of wanted to like float this idea. I think it's a very popular thesis on like the Memecoin Supercycle. But oftentimes like my working process is always talk about things either with friends or in Discord or on stream. And I get to like hear my own thoughts. And it either like cements an idea for me and helps me build conviction, or sometimes I hear myself and I'm like, you sound dumb. So we're gonna talk about the actual like Memecoin Supercycle thesis today. And yeah, that's about it. But yeah, like that kind of, I don't want to call it creative process because that sounds super cringe, but like that process I go through really helps me develop conviction sometimes. Like I floated the idea of like the PEPE thesis last year, the kind of 6 month range summer thesis earlier this year. Like sometimes I have super strong conviction, sometimes they don't work out. A couple months ago or last month, I was floating the idea of Solana possibly could make a dip below 100. The Solana ETH local top. Neither of those things played out, so you know, but it's still part of the process to discuss these things. So I hope you guys don't mind. So, yep. Let me catch up with chat real quick, and then we'll get started. Anyone tell me the tools to create summary automation AI from this live? No idea. Thank you, Chucky. Good morning, Jingo. Good morning, everyone, by the way. I didn't say my good mornings, but love to see there's like 50 good mornings in here. That's like one of my favorite things about crypto, straight up. I don't know why, but I love the GM nature of crypto. Finally caught a live stream. Been watching your content for a while. Yeah, man, thank you, sir. You stop the music and back the music. We don't want stream. We want both. Got it. Or also don't stop stream. We want both. Yeah, I figure like some light background stuff works out well. Thanks, Danny. All right. What time zone are you in for it to be the morning? I'm Pacific, USA. PST. It's like 10 a.m. for me. All right. Shall we get into Bitcoin? Let's start with a daily. So, as you guys know, we've been in this mental disease range for 7 months. We entered this range in February. It'll be October tomorrow. That is an insane amount of time to spend trading between two price levels, but it's not out of the norm. Bitcoin does this a lot. We're used to multiple month composites building on Bitcoin. During this time, as you guys know, alts got absolutely decimated. Most of them down 80-90%. Sentiment was really bad. You know, somewhere in these low ranges, people calling for 40Ks. We held on despite all the FUD, repeated FUD, wars, you know, Silk Road selling, Germany selling, GOX selling, you know, the macro event that I didn't really understand, but, you know, put a lot of pressure on indexes and in crypto, obviously. And then our first kind of potential higher low, right? People thought September was going to be a horrible month. We opened up pretty brutally. We almost revisited the lows. And we finished the month strong. That was our first, I would say, first inning, right? First inning of a risk-on cycle, risk-on season always starts pretty much the same. Altcoins are down 80-90%. They develop ranges at the range lows, accumulation ranges, and when there's a spark of risk on, everything sends. it really doesn't matter what narrative the coin falls under. It doesn't matter if it's DeFi, it doesn't matter if it's Cardano, it doesn't matter what the coin is. Everything is going to get a little bit of a pump, and that's what we've gotten the last 2 weeks. Everything down the list gotten a pump. Gains should have been kind of normalized if you tried to long a meme coin and an L1 and maybe some Solana and this and that. Like, unless you went degenerately long into one thing, I'm pretty sure everyone made a good amount of money these last 2 weeks. So where does that leave us, right? There's been a lot of discussion about this kind of 65K high and market structure break. I actually covered this last week. I talked a lot about, like, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about this high. This is not the high that everyone should be worried about. Like, if you're really trying to be strict with market structure, this is the high that set the low. Therefore, a market structure break is above this high. This is one price leg. My friend and legend in the space, Motif, talked about this on Twitter the other day, and I just was very thankful that he was covering this, because it seems like so many people are just talking about this, right? They're just talking about this swing high. And what I said to you guys last week is I don't care, right? I don't care either way. I don't care if we front run that high and roll over right here, and can set another higher low and we can go for it later, or we go a little bit higher. It really doesn't matter. I'm not going to be making plans for the next few months based on whether we trade 1% higher, 1% lower on 65K. So just want to start off with some context in case people, don't watch the streams every week. But where we're trading right now, I look at this as opportunity. I believe the bottom's in. I've been saying this for a couple weeks or maybe a month now. I can't even remember how long I've been saying this, but I've been saying it for quite some time. I was very bull curious for a while until I eventually said, okay, the bottom's in. We've soaked so many bearish catalysts after bearish catalysts. Bears couldn't do anything. All coins are down 80, 90%. People are coming at Owen for buying coins down 80 to 90%, saying that he's being paid to buy these coins. Like, it got disgustingly bad, especially for like VC coins. And you guys have seen how SUI has performed since then. So really, really funny how that always works. Anyways, don't want to get too sidetracked. I'm looking at this dip as an opportunity. I don't really think we're going to trade below here. It's going to take an extreme catalyst to get us down here. If you guys just look back on this summer, all of these lows were created by big macro catalysts, right? Unless you guys have something in mind that I don't see coming, or like a lot of us, 99% of us don't see coming, I'm pretty confident in saying that every dip is going to be bought. All the alt dips are going to be bought. And if we revisit this location between, 60, 59, 62, somewhere in there, this is an extreme amount of opportunity to buy the dip, right? Right around weekly trends, daily demand, yearly VWAP, if we're getting really, really, risk on, we'll probably just bottom right up here at the daily trends. But yeah, I think this is a really good opportunity, and we're going to go down the altcoin list and look at some of those setups on high time frame and stuff where I want to buy the dip. We should zoom out for a minute, talk about the weekly. Get rid of all this stuff. Okay, so I've been a broken record all summer talking about 58K, right? 58.5, being that this was my bias point this year, right? 58.5 or whatever exactly this is, was where we turbo nuked both times last cycle, right? If we go down to the one-day chart and stuff like that, you'll see that we like perfectly rejected this region both times. Both times we tried to hold 58.5, we absolutely brutally nuked both times. What have we seen differently this time around? Every single time we puke below this, and we have a reason to do so, and we have bearish catalysts, it gets bought back up and it V-shape recovers. So will I be concerned if during October we revisit 58? No. If the dip is deeper than people think and we revisit here again, no, I don't believe that's an issue. I believe this entire structure that we're building right now is the wall of worry, synonymous to how we built this in this range last year, right? So if we go back to our kind of August, September grind up last year, this caught people by surprise, right? When we got that headline. But I don't think people were paying attention to that this was developing bullish market structure, right? Or a bullish price leg before we got into that. This is, bulls were in control. Bulls were in control of price for a very long time before we even got this mega, news-based candle. I think we're developing and building the exact same structure this time around after we've definitively bottomed. So, any dips in October, whether that's going to be shallow at 62 or deep at 58, I will be a buyer of. I'll be adding to longs, I'll be adding to alts, and I'll be looking for that all-time high push potentially after elections. I think the all-time high doesn't come before elections. I don't think we see that in October. I'm more, what do you want to call it? Not as crazy optimistic about October as everyone else, simply because like I just don't care, right? It's like if it happens in October, great, but I don't need it to, and I'm not ravenously buying and thinking that like everything's gonna turbo send in the next week, and if you don't buy this dip, it's over for you, because even if that occurs, what environment are we granted? We're granted this type of environment, right? An environment where Bitcoin is in a position of strength, being held by daily trends, above the composite that it built for several months, above daily trends, in bullish market structure, with a bullish catalyst, with seasonality, and altcoins are absolutely going sicko mode in this region. They're going nuts, right? So even if you miss this one pump or one or two pumps and it actually happens next week, understand the market that you are being granted to extract value from for several months. So those are my 2 plans, right? I hope that's all clear. Let's go back to chat. Scroll up a little bit. I can't stay long, but please drop alpha. I'll rewatch the VOD. Yeah, man. Also, everything gets timestamped, so don't worry about that. Range has to end because I'm losing my mind. That's the point of the range, right? The range is here so that you do lose your mind, so that you recalibrate your brain as well, right? You go from an environment, right, where the market's conditioned you to buy every dip and buy every dip and buy every dip, and maybe you're hesitant on the first dip, and then you dip your toes in on the second dip, and then you buy a lot on the third dip, and then you go all in on the fourth dip, right? And you're like, I'm not going to take profits. Every time I take profit, it just goes higher, right? So when you're finally conditioned after several weeks and months, and you're adding risk and adding risk and adding risk and adding risk, and this one you're like, well, I'm not going to miss this. This is when the market switches the meta on you and goes to a range-bound environment. And then you get too nervous to buy and round trip, and you start, towards the end of the range go, I have to take profits. Oh, we're going up. I'm scared. Like, we just keep getting bonked up here. I'm not adding risk, right? It's going to go lower. We have to run this low. We have to take liquidity, whatever, right? So you go, the market conditions you from acting in one manner to acting in another manner. And then when you're perfectly conditioned to a range is when it starts a new trend. It's classic market conditioning, right? Market's only ever doing one of two things. It's either ranging or trending. And I really think just, if you're going to learn one thing from me in these streams, it's how to identify changing conditions using EMAs, using price action, using some psychology. If my alts are green today, does that mean I've chosen winners? What alts are green today? So there's some memes. There's FTM, which is really strong. I think Bonk is really strong. Beam I saw looking really good. But I wouldn't say that it has to be those three that are the leaders, right? Sui's still up. I think Say, I have some bids on, where's Say? Is it not up here? There it is. I'm blind. I have some bids on Say that I kind of hope get filled right in this region. Setting some lows here. I hope these all get run, and then we can run it up. Anyways, I don't want to get distracted by alts yet. We have so much time to talk about alts. I know you're not big on macro, but high chance of long Horsman strike tomorrow. Long Shoresman strike tomorrow, which would cripple supply chain, which one would tank S&P. I took long profits in watching. Okay, I have no idea about that, man. I have no idea about that. I don't know how to action macro events. I don't have an edge actioning these kind of things. I just look at these as opportunities, right? So in a trending market, right? In a market that's strong, Every one of these dips is going to be caused by something or another, some scary event, right? People don't just sell for no reason. Like something, you know, some people take profits that puts the market in like low time frame bearish market structure. Then you get a news event that really pushes stuff down, gets people to sell their bags. And then that gets bought up, right? The people that were smart and took some profits, they come in, they see the advantage, they buy lower, it sends it up, right? All of these price legs are going to probably be catalyzed by some kind of micro, you know, bearish catalyst, right? Or event, news event, right? In a you know, downtrend, when you get bad news, this is gonna turbo nuke you, right? It's really gonna put the pressure on you because they're in control and they got news going on, you know, going in their favor. I believe that we're starting to build this, right, on alts and high time frame. This is very, like, we're in the very early stages of this. I would consider it even like the first inning, right? So I would look at these kind of events that anything that happens is a buying opportunity instead of like I need to be risk off. I think we had massive ones this summer, like absolutely massive ones this summer. And anything from here on out is probably not going to be as massive. Sam, that is not courteous of you. Good morning to bulls only. Exactly. What dictates what makes a green or red candle in your charts versus the normal charts and white? It's delta, right? It signifies extra effort going into certain candles. Paragon has these indicators, so you'll see them on my screen as the Paragon volume suite, and in here you'll have a bunch of different like order flow tools for delta and relative volume, CVD, and all this kind of stuff that you can add to your charts. I think there are some like public ones. It's just I don't know what they're called. I just use the Paragon one. Doc is non-binary on October. Transition from, I would say I'm actually more bull. Not bull curious anymore. I'm just like full bull over the last 2 weeks. I would say I'm not bull tarred yet. I'm bull tarred in my like positioning and risk tolerance, but I'm not bull tarred in the sense that like markets have to go up next week or else I rage, if that makes sense. My risk tolerance and like positioning and amount of risk that I've put on over the last 2 weeks is the largest that it's been since April. Since the April 17th lows, that was the last time I took position sizes that big. So yeah, I guess I don't know what you would call me, Born. I'm sure you have something clever to say. So many people are bullish into Q4. Do you think this may all be front running and potentially reach 48Ks? I don't think there's any reason for Bitcoin to hit 48K at this point for reasons that I've explained multiple times over multiple streams. But just TLDR, like I even said it earlier in the stream, we've had events to push price down. All of these have been really bearish events, whether it's equities weakness or macro events or, you know, Gox Germany Silk Road selling or war news or whatever, right? What at this point is going to take us to 48K, right? It needs to be something new. Like we're just soaking and soaking and soaking all this selling. We continue to soak this selling. This is what Bitcoin looks like. Meanwhile, alts have done this. They've literally fully round-tripped Burj Khalifa, right? Some are down here, some are breaking out, some have set new trends, some like Sui are already all the way back at highs. I don't see a reason to get to 48K now. If it happens, I will not have seen it coming, personally. What situation would make you genuinely worried about Bitcoin? Here's what I'll say to that. I have been very defensive for 6 months, and I have allowed the market to show me what it's got, right? You know, I was blessed, fortunate, and grateful to extract a lot of value from 2023 into Q2 of this year, and became very defensive and allowed, you know, like bears, do your worst. Do what you got to do, right? I have my levels, I have my invalidations, I have, you know, I see what I want to see, right? And I talk about 58K, and I talk about, you know, these monthly levels, and I talk about the range, and I talk about the bearish catalyst. At this point, it would just be like something unforeseen, right? It's not going to be something that I will have seen coming. Like, okay, if Bitcoin trades to here, I'll be scared. No, I just look at it as a buying opportunity, right? If we get below here and we just nuke in like one candle, I will not have seen that coming. It's not something that I'll have seen coming. There'll be ways on lower time frame where I'll be like anxious and be like, okay, this is not getting the bounce. Why are we spending so much time down here, etc., etc. But it's not something that I'll be able to predict. All right, I kind of want to get back to charts, so I'm gonna fly through some of these. I'm underexposed. What do I do now? Slowly bid dips. Just buy dips. Get exposure to the assets that you've wanted exposure to, right? I've talked about all summer how I want to see alts in accumulation ranges. They've all done this. Every alt on my watch list has done some form of this, right? And if you can't buy in an accumulation range and the coin is breaking out, buy on the retests of the trends, right? So you'll have like a weekly trend that's going to look like this, right? That, you know, gave you a really strong uptrend, turned into resistance. You probably got bonked from it a few times. You're now flipping it. If you get a retest into these trends, buy these dips. Operation front run docs bids as a go. Yeah, here's the thing about me. You can front run my bids because I'm very comfortable just buying higher into trends. Like, I don't care. Port strikes is kind of a big deal, but if the West Coast goes on strike too, that would affect supply trains in the States and the world. That's the first time hearing about this, man. I'll look into it after the stream. Okay. Long-term bullish on any specific AI coins. I like Render just because it's been good to me for over a year. And I picked up IO recently, just as speculation, brand new coin, DPIN, Solana, you know, that's lower market cap, lower FTV. It looks good in an accumulation range. I'll go through the chart in a minute. I tried getting a whiff on the low time frame twice yesterday and stops hit. Now it's running. I'm so stupid. Should have just bought spot, dude. That's a really good lesson. You know, I've said this many times before. There are not a lot of traders that can out trade this. Right? There are not a lot of traders that can trade this. You know what you should try to do? Put 90% of your capital that you're willing to expose to crypto in spot along this trend. Have 10% that you want to trade with actively, day trade, intra-week trade, whatever. See if you can outperform your spot portfolio with your perp portfolio. A lot of people can, most people can't, right? Most people are just better off buying spot and uptrends and doing less. Or if you're gonna long, just have super wide stops, right? Just have super wide stops and account for the choppiness of these markets because they chop you the fuck up before they expand. At what point do I loan money to buy crypto? I think I think when everything falls apart, that's when you do that kind of stuff. When industries are blowing up and stuff like that. Okay. We're going to take a break here and then I'll come back to some of the questions because they just keep coming in. Worried about Trump election loss impacting Bitcoin negatively, maybe short term, not long term. Like if this is the election, right? And we're trading like this going to the election, Trump wins, price goes like this, Trump loses, price goes like this. And over the time, right? Like this is a Kamala win, this is a Trump win. Right? They're just the gains are just probably normalized after a while. Like it'll be short term. I think 6 months from now, you're not going to look back and be like, oh my God, Kamala won. That sent crypto to zero. Okay. I'm going to get a sip of water. I'll be right back. I really want to cover some charts today, but you guys are asking some good questions. What should we do? Okay, this is what I'm gonna do real quick. Do a quick promo, be like less than a minute. Don't worry about it. So WU has been partnered with me for a long time. I've been with them since like November of last year. I trade there actively. That's where I trade every single day. They actually partnered with Paragon recently, which is super big, right? They're partnered with like, Chroma and the Haven, and now they're partnered with Paragon. If you guys sign up with the WU code, right, which is, I'll drop. Oh crap, I don't even have a link. I'm not even prepared for this. This is bad on me. But if you sign up and deposit with $500, you get $100 free. That is not like locked. Now, what a lot of these exchanges do, they do like really scammy practices where they lock that $100 in your perp account, so you can't actually withdraw it. You can't actually do anything with it. You can't like buy Bitcoin and then withdraw the Bitcoin. It's just locked on the exchange. Like they basically are just giving you $100 to gamble away. But with WU, you can withdraw this. You can literally get your $100 for free, take it out of the exchange, buy some spot, do whatever you want with it. It's your $100. You can take it out to the bank, right? They're literally just giving you $100. And I wonder why they're doing this, like just literally giving away free money. They've done this for like me and like a promotion before. They're doing it with Paragon now. And they're just confident. They're just like hyper confident that their exchange is worth checking out. So if you guys want a free $100, sign up with the Paragon code, which I will drop in chat in a minute. But definitely check it out. It's out for 2 weeks. It started today. I'll drop the link in chat in a second. But I thought it was pretty interesting. If you guys literally just want a free $100, like there you go. Like sign up, deposit $500, make one trade, $100. Let me see if I can find the code real quick. Definitely came unprepared, but thought I would mention it. How do I even find this thing? I think it's the Paragon, but I am not sure. Oh, it's just Paragon. Okay, sick. Moron. Okay, there you go. That's the code. That's the code to get you $100. You want $100 free? Just sign up to WU. Deposit 500, make one trade. All right, sick. Let's go back to chat real quick. I'm gonna miss some questions, guys. If you really want my like answer on something, just feel free to ask again. Because if I answer like every one of these, we're just never gonna get through the stream. Your thoughts on WIF chart, Doc, and give me an entry? Sure, I'll do WIF in a bit. I'm gonna do a lot of alts. Thoughts on render. What do you think about DUSK at the daily trend? Wave, ask me again in a bit. I will get to these. I also wanted to talk about the Memecoin Supercycle. We haven't even gotten into that. I'm just scrolling through the comments real quick. Can you talk about buying higher? Dude, I have so many like threads on CT and streams talking about it. Like so many streams where I've talked about this. There'll be timestamp too, but I can do it quickly. How's the liquidity on WU? It's almost perfect for Bitcoin and ETH, unless you're like a Nance whale where you're trading 1,000 Bitcoin, right? But I can literally market any size that I want on majors and Solana and stuff like that. There's some altcoins which are tough, but that's the same on Bybit. Like if like you guys saw me trading a poo recently, right? I'm trading this on Bybit. This is dog shit liquidity. Literally dog shit. I have to buy like clips of like 5K at a time, really slowly, like really enter in slowly to not move price 3 to 4%, right? So no exchange is like absolutely immune from this. Like a lot of altcoins are going to be low liquidity, but like big stuff like Render, FET, like ZRO, like these are fine. PENDLE, like all the coins that you guys are used to trading, SUI, they're liquid. Like it's just going to be these like really like lower cap coins that are going to be hard to get fills on size. But in my experience, it's the same everywhere, Bybit and whatever. What do you think about crypto miners pivoting to AI? I haven't heard that, but I have WULF on my list, and WULF looks really good. Like, out of all the miners, I think this, like, I really like this structuring of building an accumulation for a long time. It's been in an uptrend this entire period. It hasn't lost the dailies. It looks better than Coinbase as far as, like, you know, crypto exposure to the stock side go. I honestly would probably want to buy some WULF myself. Let's see what the weekly looks like. Yeah, like, this is the developing weekly trend. There's your dailies. Like, this looks really good. I don't know if we'll get fortunate enough to be able to buy the yearly VWAP again, but anything into the low 4s, I think WULF looks really good. But on the fundamental side, I don't really have any answers. Would you recommend bidding the strongest charts, Sui, Tau, POPCAT, etc.? Yeah, if you're trading, I think those are going to give you the best bounces. So anytime, so here's the dynamic, right? Strong coins, right? Strong coins, like this is Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin corrects. Your strong coin's going to outperform Bitcoin in the up leg. It's going to correct too. When Bitcoin forms a local bottom, these will be the fastest horses off the bottom, right? So I think anytime you get corrections, the strongest coins going into the correction, it doesn't matter what those are, they may change. The strongest coins going into the Bitcoin pullbacks are going to be the coins that you want to bid for continuation trades. All right, we're going to pause there. I want to do some alt charts first, and then we're going to go and talk about the Memecoin cycle thesis. Where do we start? I want to start with others. So I talked about others last week, being as that, like, it was trading into the weekly, right? And I consider, you know, the weekly a very, very good representation of trends. If you guys don't know how I trade, it's very heavily based on high time frame corrections around the weeklies. Trading up into this last week was a place where I wanted to be cautious and really understand that we could be coming into a level of resistance. We just crabbed right through it, right? There were a lot of really good trades like RUNE and Render and stuff like that that I nailed just playing 4-hour trend continuation through this, right? But just want to be cautious about the area that you're in. Once again, we're in a very strong area of resistance, right? There's a high time frame level. I've talked tirelessly about the $240 billion level on others. It's a similar level on like total 3, just with a different number, similar chart, right? This was the point of breakdown from last cycle, right? This was the supposed support before devastation of selling occurred and we formed an accumulation range. This was around our local top last year in 2023. This is where we tried to hold in April and May and give us our like complacent shoulder, dead cat bounce, and where the devastation of selling started occurring on alts. This is the bleeder on alts that we saw this summer that caused them to go down 80 to 90%. Bearish rejection off the weekly. We're coming into this level right now. Now, we can do many things, right? We can correct a little bit more into the weeklies. We can even wick below this and close the weekly above it. Nonetheless, I think the new trend, the new like absolute banger moves where we're going to get a higher high comes when we start accepting above 240. So it's not surprising seeing some resistance here. We talked about this last week on the levels that Bitcoin was trading at around 65K as well. We're seeing a little bit of correction on Bitcoin. We're seeing a little bit of correction on altcoins. But nonetheless, I think these opportunities are for buying. Last week, I said that if we got rejected here at the weeklies and we set a higher low in this region, that's a buying opportunity. I'm not changing that. I still think it's the exact same thing. It's just that we're stronger than even I anticipated, right? So the fact that we blasted through this is very strong. All we really need to do is kind of hold in this region. Wicks below are totally fine. I would just like to see the weeklies held so that we can actually bullishly cross these things and accept above 240, right? So that's just really what others are. You're going to see that the analysis that I just gave you on others is going to be pretty much the same thing across all altcoins that I want to talk about. And we'll get into those now. So we'll start with FED. Again, I think it broke right really cleanly above the weekly, right? Such a beautiful accumulation range. Like I was talking about accumulation ranges, really beautiful ping pong between these levels, really good respect for mid-range. You have a beautiful deviation down here, which came to weekly demand. Like this chart is a beauty. This chart is an absolute beauty. Traded right into weekly demand. I tweeted this down here. I was like, if you still want AI exposure, this is where you get it. And I got met with like so many like negative comments of like this chart's trash, etc. That was the peak of bottom, right? It's funny how those things work out. Anyways, the structure looks really good. We're trading right into the dailies right now, right? And I did long this morning for a bounce, or actually, excuse me, last night for a bounce. I TP'd a little bit. I closed the rest of it this morning. The way Bitcoin's looking, I'll probably end up getting right back into this. So this is the long that I took. This is the TP that I took because it traded right into the 4-hour trend, right? So really good sweep, really good bounce right into the 4-hour downtrend. We need to flip the 4-hour trend again bullishly so that we can get this expansion trade. So as long as we're in this region, it's going to be really crabby. Once we get above the 4-hour trend, we can probably look to aim for these highs once again. So high on my watch list right now. I really like that this alt is showing some relative strength versus Bitcoin. Bitcoin is breaking down really bad. You can see that FET is just kind of trading around the same levels that it's been trading at for about a week, right? We tested this low on Thursday. It's Monday, not quite a week, but that is kind of relative strength. Whereas Bitcoin is pulling back like this, altcoins are kind of finding a base right around the daily trend. So this is a level that I want to continue looking at. The real trigger for this expansion is going to be breaking above the 4-hour trend. Render, more of the same. This one's really, really clean, right? Clean SR, clean trades, clean gap fills from daily to weekly, flipping above the weekly, flipping above the SR. I think this one looks really good. These are choppy. So like I said, guys, you need to have like wide invalidations or have a system or at least a risk management system that allows you to get into these trades and withstand some of this chop. Whether you want to trade this chop or not, whether you want to wait for the swings, just identify really clean levels. Like we're still holding the 4-hour trend, right? Bitcoin lost 4-hour trend, ETH lost 4-hour trend, Render still holding the 4-hour trend, holding the weeklies, right? I think this looks pretty solid. One Bitcoin finds a bottom, I think Render will make another move up into the 7s. ZRO looking really good as well. It's finding some weakness along the 4-hour, right? I can't really tell you if this is going to break down a little bit lower and make the gap to the dailies or not, but nonetheless, like look at this monster on the weekly. Actually, let's do it on the daily. Right, so you've broken out of the composite once again. You've taken out the point of breakdown, right? Rejection, big delta blow through. I think dips are for buying in this region, right? The closer you get to the mid 4s, the closer you get to the daily trend, that's a buying opportunity on ZRO. FTM looks really good. I was hoping for more of a dip on FTM. I wanted this to trade in the dailies. It's trading really strong right now. Let's see what it looks like on the 4-hour. Right, so kind of like a fake breakdown, reclaim, holding strong. One of the coins that's up on the day. So I think again, when Bitcoin finds its bottom, this is going to be one of the leaders off of that, right? The coins that are strong during the Bitcoin corrections are going to be the strong ones when Bitcoin bounces. We'll do PEPE when I talk about memes. We'll do a POO when I talk about memes. RUNE is one of the best trades that I took over the past weeks. I posted this on CT. I'm hoping that I get filled once again and can kind of just run back the same trade once more off the dailies and weeklies, right? If I get this, I think it's just going to be like a banger swing to the 7s. We're very close to those levels right now, so we'll just see how this one plays out, right? The two plans that I have for myself is either like longing down here or a reclaim of the yearly VWAP. Right, these are the two places that I would like to play continuation on something like RUNE. Like these charts look so good, guys. Like we did everything that I've wanted to see on these coins, right? We've put in our accumulation ranges, we've reclaimed the dailies, we've reclaimed the weeklies, we have a bullish price leg. We're just looking to buy dips and play trend continuation, right? This is the way that I see this market playing out. So again, losing the 4-hour trend here on PENDLE. I'm hoping that I get filled down here. It's probably too optimistic. We're gonna need more Bitcoin weakness for this to play out. So we'll have to see. But this is the ideal place to bid the dip on this one. ONDO, more of the same, right? Really clean gap fill trades, daily to weekly. Kind of breaking down now. We'll see how this plays out, right? So two plans. Either we bleed all the way down to the dailies. This is daily demand, right? You'll just take my word for it. I'm not gonna flip over the daily chart. Right, daily demand right here would be a really good place to buy ONDO again for another price leg. But if we kind of round out in this location, reclaim, probably put in a market structure break, put in a higher low in this region, this is probably a long here as well. Right, this would look really good. So I can't really predict what's going to happen here. I just know my levels, right? Someone last week was asking me about like, how do you make plans? How do you not get sidelined? How do you know when to buy the dip? You just make if-then plans. Like I don't play the no man's land region. I just know my spots. I know my spots of where I'm going to long if things are strong. I know my spots of where I'm going to long and take action if things are weaker than I thought. POPCAT. Extremely choppy, man. so choppy, but this is, I think, par for the course for POPCAT, right? POPCAT's a coin that kind of trades like ass. Like, it makes these big moves, but the rest of the time it's really trading like ass. It's not a coin that I've had a lot of success on trading. This was the only time that I traded POPCAT. I didn't even get like the full move. I traded like from here to here. I haven't really traded POPCAT since then. This was like in April when I was, like I said, the last time I was like turbo bullish on that, you know, Israel-Iran war FUD news, right? But POPCAT, again, same sort of if-then plans. I would really love to buy this down here. One of these sweeps into daily trends. If not, and it continues accepting over 98, right? And it's putting in new bullish price action in this area and holding above 90, is that 98? That's 97. It's hard to read on my screen. It's even small for me. This would be a good continuation setup, right? When we're down in this region, like, I think it's just, it's the case of strength showing up, right? A lot of people want to bid the same levels, and those levels are getting front run. That is a sign of strength, right? Anytime you have very consensus levels and they're getting front run, I gave you guys a couple examples on like PENDLE and RUNE and stuff like that. The levels that I want to buy are currently getting front run, right? I look at that as a sign of hidden strength. A lot of people are overlapping bids in the same region. This is how you get really strong trends. So yeah, if then plans here on POPCAT. Sui, what a goddamn monster that really has like locked me out of taking big positions, right? I've been wanting, and I think I said this like weeks ago, that if we get a retest down here, I would buy it. There was no such retest. This thing did a, what, 150% move in a month, basically in a straight line. This is the strongest rally that Sui's had in its existence. Even the last time around, it didn't have this strong of a move, right? This is the strongest move that it's had. The level to defend on high time, if you're granted and given, is around the 140s, right? So if this ends up being a correction, the 140s is where you're going to buy. What I would honestly speculate is that something like this is actually going to happen, right? It'll just form a range in this region, right? And rebalance and then probably mark up again. I think it's probably going to end up front running the location that I want to buy. But these are my plans on it. Like, I think Sui's probably just going to develop a composite up here and probably give you a shallow retest, maybe give you a daily trend retest at some point. And this will be the region where we form another composite, maybe even run these lows one time, and then get going. Like, the winners are going to continue being the winners, guys. They're not going to give you the perfect retest that we all want. We're all thinking the same thing. Down here, we're thinking, okay, if we get bonked, I'll buy a dip here. Up here, we're thinking if we get bonked, I'll buy a dip down here. So strength really is front running. And then say I quickly talked about, I just want to play trend continuation on this one. I have some bids down here in the demand, 4-hour demand, 4-hour trend, my bread and butter setup. If we get a sweep of some of these lows into here, I'll be taking longs on say and looking to play trend continuation up into, I believe this is the yearly VWAP. Yeah, right. This is the gap that I want to play. 4-hour trend continuation all the way into the yearly VWAP. I'm really hoping that I get filled on this. I'm really close to the entry, so we'll see that play out. I can go on and on. I'm gonna stop there for a minute. Hopefully I'm not going too quickly. If I'm going too quickly, you know, feel free to just go and rewind and play it back. Like I always say, things will be timestamped tomorrow, so you'll be able to, you know, re-see some of those things. Let's scroll up a little bit. Buy higher, sell even higher. Exactly. That's a bull market. 5 best spot longs and 5 best perp longs for the next 2 months. Any of these in pink. FET, Render, Zero, FTM, Rune, Pendle, Ondo, POPCAT, Sui, Say, Near, Saga, STX, WIF, Ohm, Super, RSR, Aave, right? These are all great. Solana, obviously. Bitcoin, even. There's probably coins that I'm not watching that are great too. But out of those, pick out of these. Basically the coins that I just covered, right? All the coins that I just covered. You still bullish on Maker? Not in a long time, dude. I kind of got bodied on a Maker trade while I was in Europe. My invalidation for this one was losing the weeklies, right? So this is where I longed. This is where I bought Maker. This is where it all fell apart. I haven't had a position in Maker since like here. I'm not bullish. I was not bullish on this for any like fundamental reason. I just was bullish on the chart, right? One of the better looking coins back in July, right? As far as July went, this was a good looking coin. This absolutely got brutalized in that August dump where everything went to zero. And look at the reaction that it's gotten. I don't want to bid a coin just because I bid it once and it looked good here and it looks dog shit here. I don't care about it. No like emotional attachment to coins. You ever used No, I haven't used Ichimoku clouds. What are you going to do with your gains, assuming we have a recession after the run? Buy a house, start a family. Continue trading. Get better at trading. When would you buy CAS spot? The best place to defend on CAS are the weekly trends. The same weekly trends that we've been holding forever. So basically where we are. CAS loves to hold the weekly trends. It's once again within the weekly trends. If you can buy the daily 200, that'd be perfect. That's like low 15s. We're sitting at 16 right now. So that would be the region to defend on CAS. WULF, etc. are going to get positive seasonality on Bitcoin plus new revenue streams from AI and gaming on their unused miners. Really smart pivot by them. That's good to know, man. I didn't know that. But like this chart looks like a banger. This chart looks like a banger. I probably need to reshuffle some of my portfolio around. The last time I touched my my equities port, so I was like pretty much all in Coinbase since they got sued by the SEC last summer. This is where I took profit, right? When we got that like August 5th nuke and shit bounced, right? We bounced on the daily open. Like the daily open bounce is where I took profits on coin. And I bought some because I didn't know where to put my gains, right? And I was like, oh, I'll just buy some. Like I bought it in, I don't know exactly where I bought this. I bought this like here, and I bought this here, just because I wanted some exposure to maintain in my equities port. But I think WULF is probably the leading trade that I'm going to take on equities. Probably get exposure if we get this daily trend tag again. Can you chart Pulse or Hex, please, for Sandwich? I love that. Should I just full port into Apu? The one thing I'll say about Apu is it is primed to be the I missed Pepe trade. First of all, this chart is a banger. You have a really clear-cut range, a lot of respect for mid-range, clear range highs, clear range lows, clear deviation under range lows. It looks like it's reclaiming right now. This trade is the I missed Pepe trade. So I believe that Pepe is going to flip SHIB. It's going to do a turbo rally in probably Q1, Q2 of next year. It's going to go absolutely God mode. And when it does, this coin is most positioned to receive the beta play. It's going to be I missed Pepe. It has perps listed on Bybit, which is really bullish. It's a frog coin, and it's probably the only other frog coin that people really know, right? People know the Pepe meme. People know the Apu meme. I look at them as the same meme. I know people are really anal about that and then say they're different. I don't think they're different. I think all Pepe memes are the same, and they're all derivatives of one another, or they're all derivatives of Pepe. But nonetheless, I think this coin is really positioned for that. And I don't think buying spot is a bad idea. Would I full port this? That carries a lot of risk. I wouldn't do that. But I did pick up, not exactly at these lows, but I did pick up a lot of spot in this accumulation. You got a preference for alts that didn't lose the 4-hour like Near versus ones that lost like FET you just showed? Man, the thing with Near is very like CT based. You know what I mean by that? Like Near has a lot to do with like how CT loves to look and shill this coin. So yeah, I mean, it looks fine. It looks good. I took a long last night, which I cut this morning, which seems like a a real big mistake, but I got filled on near longs last night and just closed it this morning. But I'll probably get back into it, even if I have to trade it higher. I think it looks really good. Again, it's really interesting to see that altcoins aren't breaking down, especially the strong altcoins. Like, a lot of them are holding 4-hour trends. A lot of them have like built these composites. They've built these choppy ranges. They're just revisiting the lows, right? So they've already visited these lows. Bitcoin had weakness. They're just running the lows of the range that they already set. That is really strong for a lot of these altcoins, and I think you do get continuation out of them. But I wouldn't say there's a preference. Like, when I want to long stuff, I just set alerts, right? And they come to my alerts. I take the longs, and that's really it. Like, I'm not, you know, going. I don't really want to share it on stream, to be honest. Why I take a trade like FET over FTM or whatnot. There's a couple other like low time frame factors that go into it. Do you do lower time frame intraday scalping trades using your system? If you do you have any educational contents for that in Paragon? Yeah, I do. I do have a lot of low time frame like trade reviews and stuff like that. I've talked a lot about how I take trades, how I take mean reversion trades. I have an educational section in there with like 15 videos, over 7 hours of educational content in there. I was trading predominantly low time frame this entire summer. I wasn't taking any swing setups, but I'm going back to swings, obviously, because that's what the market is it's gearing towards. Oh my God, how do I get through all these questions? No Tau on your list? It's somewhere on there. I haven't been trading Tau though. I have a comfortable vibe with trading like Render and FET and stuff like that, so I just continue trading those. Don't you think WOJAK is the beta play for PEPE? The thing I'll say about WOJAK is it's terribly underperforming NPC, which is NPC is a derivative of WOJAK, and NPC is the banger trade. So if you're gonna want to play like a WOJAK type of trade, I think NPC is the trade. I think WOJAK's probably gonna underperform it. My target for RUNE? Probably all-time highs. I don't know like exactly where. The trade that I'm taking right now is like to the 7s. What is this? 716. Are you looking at Ordi? I have it on the list. I haven't been trading it. Don't forget to press like on the stream. Yeah, I would appreciate it, guys, if you could hit the like. Helps out with the algo and stuff. Chat is popping for the amount of viewers. How many viewers do we have? I can't see. It says 26 on my screen, but I also have the stream paused. I don't know how many viewers we got. Okay, so let's talk now about memes. Let's talk now about memes. So my experience being a PEPE maxi, trading the shit out of PEPE, putting a lot of my net worth into PEPE last year, believing in this coin, believing in the SHIB flipping, believing in the Memecoin thesis before people caught on to it. This is my baby, this is my play, right? The thing I've seen with PEPE over and over and over again is that it is so strong off the rip. So strong. It's one of the best performers every time off the lows when Bitcoin goes risk on, when Bitcoin enters a new paradigm. Honestly, it's your go signal for risk on markets. Oh, hold on. Let me let my dog out. Let me hold that thought and let my dog out. Go, come on. No, go. Go. Okay, where was I? All right, so PEPE is always kind of the starting line, like firing gun, right? It's the shot heard around the world. It's what gets people really hyped early on when markets go risk on. I tweeted out that like the $11 level or the 11-cent level is going to be a really tough place to break. And, you know, I'll tell you guys this on stream. I believe that this is going to end up being bait for a little bit, right? I think these triple highs, they remind me of last summer's price action where around these highs, people were looking for continuation to take out this liquidity. And it didn't happen for quite some time. The reason is people start longing the shit out of Pepe, looking for the breakout trades, looking for the high beta rotations, looking for the 40%, 50%, 80% moves. They miss the first legs, they're underexposed on these ones, and they get really PvP. I've seen this happen again and again and again and again. So I believe memes are going to go batshit fucking crazy once again. But I don't think that's going to happen right away. I think that's going to take a little bit of time, a few months before we get there. And I think they're going to stay a little PvP before then. The reason being, when everything turbo corrects, the market has options. The market looks around. I haven't traded RUNE since like last year, right? I traded RUNE a lot in like Q4 of last year. I haven't traded it since. I'm trading it now. I haven't traded PENDLE a lot since earlier this year, right? I'm trading it now. I haven't traded SUI since like Q1. Trading it now. These haven't been options. The market's looking at the same way. They see so many options to trade off these lows. Liquidity and mind share is segregated across the market. And there's going to be a certain sect of people that try to PvP on meme coins with Bonk, Pepe. I'm not saying they're not going to be strong, but I don't think the breakouts that people are looking for I don't think they're going to come right away. I think they're going to take a little bit of time before they materialize. They'll probably be a little bit later in the cycle. That's my interpretation based on the experience of trading Pepe over the last year, right? And I've kind of seen this again and again. I've fallen for the trap myself. I've been looking, you know, I was that participant in a couple of these rallies down here. Look, I still have these kind of triple equal highs laid out for you guys. Like, it was the same narrative, right? It was the same kind of concept. Bitcoin was really strong in that July rally. Pepe was the outperformer. Pepe went up in a straight line, right? Bitcoin in October 2023, Pepe did like a 2x off the lows, right? It absolutely, you know, ripped. It got very PvP, right? People consistently kept looking for these triple equal highs, myself included. It took a lot longer before it actually broke out, right? I'm kind of leaning on that thesis playing out again. It doesn't have to play out again, but that's kind of my leading thesis on memes, is that they're going to take a little bit longer than people expect. People get very horny for memes very quickly, especially when, excuse me. Especially when there's a lot of opportunities in the markets. So I think it takes a little bit longer. That's the expectation. Now, on to the actual Memecoin Supercycle thesis. Is it real or not? I think it's real. I think it's real. And the reason for that is we have not done anything very exciting this cycle. The narratives that we come up with, they're not great, right? Alt L1 again with SUI and AI, which is realistically all vaporware. It's not real AI. But memes have a different mindshare this cycle. We've seen that since Pepe's first rip. What was the most risk-on moment in 2023? In the first half of 2023 was right here. And it was all memes. It was ETH on-chain, meme coin season that obviously flipped to Solana memes. Solana memes have had the mindshare. People are very interested in calling tops. There's a lot of people that are still not on this bandwagon. I know it seems very consensus, but trust me, there's people that are not that exposed to memes. Like, there's a lot of us degenerates that are very exposed to memes, but a lot of people that just can't mentally understand the thesis. They think it's like a stain on the industry and stuff like that. They're mid-curving it pretty hard. Now, one thing that I read from GCR back in 2022, I believe, or 2021, he says like the narratives that catch wind on the tail end of risk-on cycles are the spark, right? And I don't know how he said this. I can't even remember the exact tweet, but it was along the lines of that. And the next time the markets go risk on, they latch onto that narrative, right? And cycle 2 of a narrative is going to be stronger than cycle 1. We can look at this with AI. Let's use render as an example. Right? So render was obviously around last cycle, but if you guys traded early 2023, you remember AI was dominating the market. It was AI, whatever, A3PI, I don't even know what that ticker is, FET, Ocean, Render. These were the Giga Chad coins, right? These were the coins that everyone bid. They obviously went hyper insane, right? The submission to AI in 2023 was nothing like the submission to AI at the end of 2023. This narrative really expanded in the end of 2023 versus the start, right? So it's like cycle 1, cycle 2, the mind share increases, the submission to the willingness to bid these coins increases. I look at memes the same way. I think what we saw in April of this year was just kind of the test pump. Legit. I think it was the first go around. I think a lot of people missed that and they caught the tail end of it and they tried to search and hunt and go on chain and look for different coins to buy and maybe PvP each other, and maybe they made some money, maybe they ran it up and lost it. And I think this time around people are going, I'm not going to miss it this time. I'm going to position for it this time. I'm going to buy spot this time. I'm going to buy the lows this time. I'm going to inch my way into, I'm not going to miss it. I'm not going to miss it. I'm not going to miss it. Their risk tolerance of being like, yeah, you know, I can bet 10% of my portfolio in PEPE or something like that goes to, let me bet 20%. This was the best outperformer. That adds fuel to the fire. I really think the actual, like, I'm buying this now. I really do think, unironically, it is going to be the meme coin mania, and we probably haven't seen anything yet. And that probably doesn't happen in Q4 of this year. That probably leads into Q1, Q2 of next year, where these things probably go mania mode, real mania mode. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on that. And I would honestly, I know a lot of people are going to agree with me. This is kind of like a very consensus take, but I'm coming around to it more than I ever have, right? I think I was in disbelief that a thesis that I had worked out so well. But I would really love to hear contrarian takes. If anyone has a contrarian take of why they think I'm wrong, I'm more interested in hearing that versus someone saying I agree with you. Plus, we have good vibes in Paragon, whether the market is red or green. Absolutely, man. I DM'd Magus and Charlie sometime in August, sometime last month. And I was like, dude, I really didn't expect people to be vibing this hard in here. Like, the culture is just different. The culture is straight up just different. Like, people are not stressed. People are grinding. Like, people ask me really good questions every day on my trades, on setups and psychology and education questions. The streams are awesome. Like, I just love the culture in there. Like, people want to get good. They don't want to just be spoon-fed trades. They're not just like, Doc, entry, take profit, stop loss. Even though I do that most of the time. But yeah, man, it's good vibes. It's good shit posting. I love the good morning channel that we have. I'd never seen that before Paragon. Anyways, enough shilling. Born brought it up. I didn't. Would you swing DUSK here or wait for a weekly reclaim? DUSK, I believe, is RWA, and that actually reminds me, this is where that Memecoin Supercycle thing came into my mind. Is I was talking about in a stream recently about ONDO, and I was saying, well, ONDO just kind of had season 1, right? ONDO, RWA, that narrative in itself just came around this year. It was just this year. It wasn't around last year with RWAs. It came around this time, and they performed well, right? RWA coins perform well. There's not a big basket to choose from. There's like OHM and ONDO and DUSK and a few other ones. There's not a lot of like RWA coins to choose from. But I think that cycle, or that narrative, is going to have a season 2. And I think season 2 is going to outperform season 1. Like I said, we don't have a lot of narratives to latch onto this cycle, and RWA was a very big one. So if RWA is going to have a season 2 that outperforms season 1, I think memes are going to have a season 2 that outperforms season 1 as well. Rose is looking strong. Okay, your question about Dusk. Yeah, it's an accumulation, man. The best thing to do for coins that look like this is buy spot and not chop yourself up trading perps in this. If you think Dusk is going to trade to here, or even put in new all-time highs, you know, and you tried to trade this actively and you get some wins and you get some L's and you scratch yourself up and you lose conviction based on like recent trade performance and yada yada, 6-8 months from now you go, well, why didn't I just buy spot in the clear-cut accumulation range, right? And I'm not saying you got to full port this right here. You could get an entry position. Maybe if it comes down, you buy some more and you just wait for that moment. Ride it up, sell into the parabola, sell into the weekly trend loss, right? Yeah, you're buying into weekly downtrend right now. So what I like to do, if I have high conviction in coins, I'll trade it along the 4-hour trend, right? So if we're trading into a weekly downtrend, I'll see, does this coin have strength? And I'll trade along the 4-hour uptrend, right? But mainly, I wait for the retests. I wait for the weekly retests, which always come, right? They may come way later, but they do come. I didn't buy near till here. I didn't buy near till here, right? This is, you know, the market went risk on in October. This was January, 3 months later. And look at the move that I got. I didn't sell the top of this. I'm not going to LARP and say I sold the Pico top. I sold somewhere into the pump. Not even, I think I sold like here. But look at the move that I got out of the weekly trend retest versus some of this choppiness before. I actually, you know, this is a really good move too. But Doge, right? I did the same thing on Doge. I bought the weekly trend, right? I missed this move, and I bought in here off the weekly trend. Look at the move that I was granted, right? So I think you have time, right? I think you have time. I think, you know, markets are somewhere in this position, right? We're just kind of starting to trade above the weeklies. There's going to be a really good risk on season. There's going to be a really good correction, and there's going to be the turbo pumps later on. We talked all summer about this forming, and it formed. Why are we going to look for 48K now? Why are we going to be scared to buy the dips and have patience? Like, most people are going to just chop themselves to bits. Most people are just going to chop themselves to absolute shits and underexpose themselves to spot and buy spot too late and buy spot up here and get too bullish too late, wait for 500 confirmations. That's just something I've seen too many times. Check out SPX 69,000, dude. I know what that chart looks like. I can't pull it up on here, but it's basically just this. I thought it was a dog shit coin because it literally was just ranging for like a year. And reply guys were always telling me about 69,000 or whatever. And it put it in a god move. So GG to them for not losing conviction in their coin. But there's really nothing to say. This is what the chart looks like. Whether I pull it up or not, the chart looks like. I love that we're having discussion right now. The trade is NPC, not WOJAK. Imagine saying this sentence. Imagine saying this sentence 2 years ago, Charlie. Forget 10 years ago. Imagine saying this sentence 1 year ago. We're in a different environment. How's your access border to ratio so big? I just hit the plus and minus sign on my screens. Right, so you can always just like zoom up, zoom down. Command plus, command minus on Mac. I don't know what it is on PC. Control. You think we go to the 70-80 area for PEPE? 70 probably not. Definitely like 90, maybe 80. It's more or less this kind of doodle that I drew is like kind of the expectations that I have. It's like it'll build a composite up here. It'll fail to break out of it. It'll break down. It'll reaccumulate. It'll go for a second one. Shake people out one time. This will probably be a big Bitcoin correction. So like Bitcoin's doing this. It'll go up a lot. It'll correct a lot. That'll take a lot of coins down. If PEPE didn't break out by then, it'll have a really strong correction. And this is where you want to bid memes, right? This is your, you know, breakout, first correction, massive expansion, probably top, right, somewhere in here. And this leg will be dominated by memes. This leg will be more dispersed liquidity in the market. There'll be a lot of coins to buy, a lot of narratives to choose from. When the dip comes, the market will hyper concentrate liquidity into the winners. And turbo risk. Leading thesis. Also, shout out to Magus. He's probably not watching, but last stream he played piano, and I was like, that's nice, man. I'm going to play piano next stream. Why is your screen winking at me? I don't know what that means. Doc, you mentioned that you could see Pepe trending down to 4 while majors have topped. I don't know. Okay, I don't know what you're talking about, but somewhere in this region, I thought that Pepe could correct more. Yeah, 100%. Right? I definitely thought that, like, early on, especially early on, I think even in, like, this area right here when we're bleeding out, I was like, well, Pepe definitely could correct. But what it did do instead is just deviate the yearly VWAP and reclaim. And that was a good enough signal for me. Right? It's just been holding yearly. This bleeder, I was like, okay, maybe we come down more, right? We definitely didn't do that. We reclaimed, we retested, we blasted off. We're trading around yearly value area high, daily point of breakdown, a lot of supply in this region. Gonna be tough to just single line out of this. Do I think it's gonna come down to 4 at this point? Absolutely not. No chance. Right? This is the accumulation, right? So anytime we come down, that'll be demand. I don't see a scenario unless the whole market goes to 0, then obviously, yeah. But this is all I was looking for all summer, and we did this. APT, spot or leverage longs? I would just say spot. If I don't know, I'd just say spot. Right, so this is synonymous with this. Are you going to be able to hold leverage longs in this chop? Are you more comfortable just buying spot? And also, why would you want to trade APT when it's set a lower high? I don't know if, like, high likelihood when the market goes risk on, we just trade into, like, this region again. I think there's better trades out there than APT. Like, if you're bullish on, like, L1s, just go for SUI, right? That's the outperformer. Look where SUI's trading compared to APT. Are you usually like daily trend equals swing and weekly equals spot? Yeah, I do. Yeah, absolutely. The weekly trend retests to me are like the comfiest places to buy spot. Like, I love that, especially when I have stables, right? So like, maybe I'm giving away too much here. Who cares? Here's your market cycle, right? Markup, parabola, markdown, accumulation, markup. When I have conviction in a coin, I buy the accumulation ranges. When I have high conviction in a coin, like Pepe, right? You saw me buying, you know, you're in Paragon. You saw me buying Pepe spot in here, right? That's when I have conviction in a coin. When I don't have conviction in a coin and it breaks out, I don't know which ones in these accumulation ranges are going to win. I didn't know Sui's going to win. Maybe some of you guys did. I didn't know Sui's going to be the God mode sender out of the accumulation. I didn't know it was going to be the strongest coin. So my opportunity now is to, whenever down the line, get a weekly retest. That's when I jump on the Sui bandwagon. And the weekly retests, right? Trades in the weeklies give you the biggest moves. I'm going to look at the render chart one more time and show you, right? Like, the biggest move came out of this. Go back and backtest a bunch of charts, right? This is like a high confidence, high EV bet on coins. But yeah, daily trends, I just play trend continuation. If you're really bullish on it, I mean, I don't see why not. Like, you could definitely buy daily trend retests. My say bids are gonna fill live. Oh, now you're looking at stuff. Let's see. We can keep this up while we're reading chat. Did you cover Sol? I didn't. I'll go to Sol in a minute. Beginner question: difference between weekly trend above daily versus vice versa from a trading perspective. Healthier, yeah, healthier if daily is above the weekly. So the healthiest thing the market could be in is H4 trend, daily trend, weekly trend. This dynamic is the strongest. TLDR, just bid each dip we get on any strong poo coin. There you go. Please check Bell, please. Are you talking about BELLSCOIN? Or are you talking about Bell, the Binance chart? Binance coin. This looks like dog shit. Yeah, don't buy this. Don't buy that coin. Doc, any experience where you held a perp position as spot for 3 months? Nah, 3 months. I think 2 months. I did a really dumb thing in hindsight last year where I bet heavy on ETH and ETH beta coins. So I picked up leverage longs on Arbitrum, OP, and LDO. Right? This was the same kind of setup. Deviation, reclaim, weekly trend reclaim, bought in here, held. This choppiness was like mentally draining, but yeah, I did hold Arbitrum longs, OP longs. It was almost the same setup, and LDO longs. Right? It was the exact same kind of situation. This is OP. And yes, these underperformed a lot of other assets, but nonetheless, I did nail these trades. Right, this is where I got LDO. Like, this is underperformance versus the market. Like, imagine if I just took Say or Sui leverage longs in this position instead of these. But yeah, I did hold those for like 2 months. Can you do a 2-minute lesson on how you play the H4 trends and your invalidation? How do you decide when not to bid the H4 trend retest? The TLDR is I use price action plus trends. So if this is your trending asset and we got to move like this and we set some lows, or ideally put in like a demand block, right? And we come in and we test the 4-hour trend. A lot of times I'll look for either a test, first test, best test, or a sweep. Right, so a sweep into here helps you dial in your invalidation. So the first test you get of a demand block plus the 4-hour trends in a raging bull market, this will probably be the only test you get. In a more choppy, uncertain regime, you'll get like one test, a big bounce, and then you'll sweep this low, and that low gives you a really strong invalidation, where you want to see that be the low, where you kind of, you liquidate a bunch of people that are long. You get a bounce, people get really hyped, you run their stops one time, and then you get the reversal. That's my favorite setup for the 4-hour trend. Demand trend. I'm actually literally taking that trade right now and say, we'll see if it works out. Fed is not in a hurry to cut rates quickly. Will be guided by data. Says the rate cut process will play out over some time. No need to go fast. Cool. Reason for market drop right now? Oh yeah, I mean, Bitcoin is dropping, but here's the thing. We talked about this at the top of the stream. I think this will probably be a local bottom, right? So we'll get into the dailies. We'll run this wick. We'll be at the bottom of this prior composite, or this prior profile. This will be a good long, right? Probably gets bodied by the 4 hour, right? This will be a decent bounce. And then we'll see from here what we do, right? Are we able to reclaim the 4 hour trends and continue? Or do we need to bleed out a little bit lower and, you know, build some value in this region, right? And then go from there. We'll see what happens. But nonetheless, I expect this region to be a local bottom to give us some kind of relief, which will give some of these alts decent bounces. I think that's going to be, yeah, that's almost the same setup here on ETH, right? So two-pronged strategy. If we reclaim 4 hour trends and the breaker, that'll be continuation trade towards the weeklies. We didn't do that. We're breaking down. Here's the alert. This swing low. There's daily trend. We looking for something around here to play up into like a bearish retest. Have you seen Bitcoin nuke this hard before with alts holding up so well before? Any memories on? It's a mixed bag. Sometimes, yeah, I can't even tell you, right? So we're just taking the trades for how they are. But there are times where Bitcoin is weak and altcoins hold up stronger. And then they lag and then they bleed out. And there are times where Bitcoin is weak and alts hold up strong, right? And they just run their composite lows and they can continue, or at least continue chopping, right? They'll continue chopping and just doing whatever. And then when Bitcoin's strong, they can continue moving. Two scenarios. I really don't know what's going to play out. I'm not going to try to predict what's going to play out, but I do think this last little piece right here, right? This last little piece right here is what we're just kind of waiting on. What is this? 62.6. What is that, like a percent away or less? Yeah, 1% away. So that'll be last week's 2 standard deviation value area low. I think we get some decent relief off these lows. Bro never says the G in strength? How do you say the G in strength? Strength? You're being trolled, dude. BELLSCOIN? You can't chart BELLSCOIN on here. Oh, can you? You can. I didn't know that. It's actually good news. Wait, why am I on this chart? How did I not know this? I've been charting BELLSCOIN on the exchange. Silly me. Ideally, this region holds, but it can always just continue ranging. This is so illiquid that it almost just doesn't make sense to try to trade something like this at all. Like I have a position in this, but I'm not going to be trading it. More so just like, if we come down here again, just buy more spot and wait for the actual breakout, which, like I said, Memecoin Supercycle, probably Q1, Q2. I think Q1, it really starts ramping the hell up. Like Q1 will probably be a banger. So a couple months from now, probably a little bit more accumulation. If you alt click on a trading view window with multiple frames, it full screens what you select. Oh. Huh. Thanks. Good tip. Why is this motherfucker not looking at Sol? I forgot, dude. I forgot. Let's look at Sol. Yeah, Sol's kind of the same. I mean, it held up so much stronger than Bitcoin, but now it's losing the 4-hour trend. So retest would be in this region. Right, I have two ways to always play these things. Either reclaim, right, and this would be your point of breakdown. So the places where I would long Sol is either a reclaim or lower down here. Great drawing skills. Boom. Something like this. But on a high time frame, it looks good, man. I was turbo wrong about us seeing under 120, right? Like my thesis for a little bit, for a few weeks, was, okay, we're losing the weeklies. We've tested 120 for the fucking 40 billionth time. We probably spend a little bit of time in the low 120s, 110s, 100s, like in here. It absolutely didn't do that. It held, it showed relative strength. This was such a bleeder on Bitcoin. Like this leg on Bitcoin was so bad. This leg on altcoins was so bad. But then this leg on Solana just held, right? We just like rounded off in this region. Yeah. There's really not much to say, right? My TLDR for this entire stream is just buy dips into the weeklies and dailies, right? Weeklies and dailies are the kind of buy the dip region on everything on my charts. Like there are setups on the 4-hour trends for certain coins, like I've mentioned, but kind of the same thing that I said on ETH, I'm saying on Sol, right? So if we continue showing relative strength against Bitcoin, right, which we have been, then all I'd be doing is looking for like a reclaim of this last up move before the down leg where we started trading and holding below the 4-hour trends. That's kind of your breaker candle. That's reclaiming this composite that we build up here. We trade back into that. Maybe we get a shallow retest. Maybe we get a deeper retest. That's your long. This deviation is your invalidation. You play trend continuation. You aim for this liquidity and you aim for like the 163 liquidity. Otherwise, I'm not interested in trading in here. I just wouldn't trade. I wouldn't buy the dip randomly in between here. I would wait for lower. Boomer alert went off. This alert? No. I don't know. I missed it then. What do you think of Link? Oh, whiff. Yeah, I got you, Shiva. I'll do whiff. We'll do whiff right after Link. Promise. My whiff, like, is going to be the exact same of what I said on Pepe. Accumulation range, big markup. Probably goes PvP, not turbo risk on until next year. Probably more basing needed on Link. Yeah, so prior SR, weekly trend, getting bonked at weekly trend. Like above 1220, acceptance above 1220, acceptance above the weekly. We flip this, we reclaim. This all turns into a deviation. You can play the run up. Other than that, you look for these lows, right? So the high time frame picture on Link is either look for these lows or look for this reclaim. No trade zone in here. No trade zone right at resistance. I don't see why Link would outperform much, right? It hasn't shown life so far this cycle. It's been kind of in a position of power. Like it was an early leader in September, October of last year. It hasn't shown that same dynamic. This time around, it hasn't put in a good reclaim. A lot of coins have. It hasn't traded above the weekly. A lot of coins have. So yeah, not much positive to say there. And then we'll go to whiff. Thank you for being patient, Shiva. You said it a bunch. I know I missed it a bunch of times. So this doesn't look bad. This is the accumulation that we've been working with. This is where I picked up some spot. I picked up spot like all the way back here, held through all this shenanigans, picked up a little bit more recently at 170, right on this trend retest. This is also, I don't know if anyone cares about this, not really my bag on WIF. It's my girlfriend's bag. She, last summer when we were like in this region, this is like the top signal kind of alert. She knows I'm in crypto. She knows I've been trading this for 2 years. We've been together for a decade. Never wanted to buy crypto. Never wanted to buy anything. Didn't buy Bitcoin when I said at 16K. Didn't buy Solana when I was buying into the teens and 20s. Just didn't want to buy crypto. Too risky, too risky, too risky. Supports me trading and everything like that. But with her money, she didn't want to buy it. This is where she said, let's buy some altcoins. And I was like, what do we want to buy? And she's like, a meme coin. And I was like, okay, PEPE. And she goes, but you already own PEPE. Let me buy something different. I was like, okay, WIF. And then I was like, we'll do a 50-50 portfolio. We'll buy 50% PEPE, 50% WIF. Her first cost basis on WIF was like $2.30 or something. It wasn't exactly in the middle. It was like somewhere in here, $2.30. And that got bodied, obviously. And then I bought her more and I bought her more. And I've been kind of like trading around her stack a little bit to bring her cost basis down with my money. mixing funds there. This is all a joke, IRS. Complete joke. This is for entertainment purposes only. I'm not actually a trader. This is all for complete entertainment purposes. But anyways, that's the brief WIF story. But yeah, I bought her some more WIF. And yeah, I mean, it looks good. Are we still trading on the 4-hour trend? We are, right? So one of the strong coins at this moment. Clean support resistance level, you know, dating back all the way into July. Right, this was your point of breakdown. This is where we tried to hold support. This is that like the supply that got put in before the devastation of selling. Right, we crabbed at this region. We broke through it. We're still holding the 4-hour trends. You got a 4-hour trend retest along with that SR. It looks good for now. It could probably continue marking up a little bit. When we lose 4-hour trend, I'd be looking for correction in the dailies or the weeklies. Looks good right now though, dude. Looks very good. Gulji just joined the stream. Where do you see Bitcoin setting its lower high? I talked about all of this at the top of the stream, man. I don't want to rehash it just for people that have been in the stream for a little bit. Turn your friends into revenue or the complacency shoulder. Tragic. This looks good, man. Apu looks really, really good. Really, really, really good. If I get a retest here, like if it continues marking up and I get a retest of like the 30s or 40s, I'm probably going to do two things. Probably going to add to some spot and probably open some swing longs to target this range high. This is a monster setup. Monster setup. How do you manage underperformance? Do you rotate your spot alt bags during alt season? If I have an underperformer, right? If I'm holding A, right? Bag A, and the market's ripping, right? So like a bunch of coins are doing this and this and this and this and this, and they're marking up. And I had a thesis on this coin for why it should go up, and it relatively underperforms. When I feel that the market's topped and I'm taking profits on other bags or stuff like that, local top, closing longs, think we're too risky, maybe funding has been, you know, skewed extremely positively for like 2.5 weeks and we're due for a flush. I'm selling this, doesn't matter where, right? And I'm waiting for the flush and I'm buying this money into a different bag, right? I'll be buying this. That's how I manage underperformance. So like last year, I did this with the ARB, OP, LDO positions. I TP'd them into their parabola after waiting 2 months for that rotation. I didn't want to rebid those, and that's where I flipped the money into Dogecoin, Near, and what was the third coin that I bought? I can't remember what it was. APT? Was it APT? I don't remember what the third coin that I bought was for some reason, but it was Dogecoin, Near, and one more. Do you trade full time? Do you have a job? Just asking because I want to know how you manage. No, I trade full time. After internship, I was studying for residency. I was studying for boards to apply for residency. And when I finished boards, I was too in love with trading, and I took a chance on myself and I went full-time trading. And in hindsight, guys, I did not start with enough capital, which hurt me in a psychological way more than it hurt my trading. And that psychological way was, I cannot afford to blow up. I don't have income outside of trading. My nest egg is my nest egg. Whatever's in the bank is in the bank. If I blow up an account, I have to pull money from living to fuel a new account. I have to take it slow and steady. So when markets were going like risk on last year at yearly open, 2023 yearly open and stuff, I was not as like risk accepting. I was more risk adverse. I still nailed some trades, still amplified my capital, did multiples on the capital, but the mentality of not having enough money in the bank, not having passive income, makes you trade with less risk. You take less risk, you take on smaller positions, you're unwilling to lose. So mentally, you know, it's one of those things. So I think if you have an edge and you're profitable, and you don't have a lot of capital, maintain your job. Keep your job, keep your income, don't trade full time. You know, don't do what I did, because it's mentally, it causes you a lot of stress and anxiety that doesn't need to be there if you just hold on to a job. But with my job, right, if I went into residency, there is no time to trade. Absolutely no time. You work, like my friend, my colleague from med school, just got residency, and I was talking to him. He moved close by me. I hung out with him a few weeks ago, and I was asking him what his schedule is like, and he is working 12 days on, 12-hour shifts, 2 days off, 4 guaranteed days off in a month. So he's working 6 days a week, right? He has 4 mandated by his job days off a month. They can be any days. They don't have to be weekends. They can be any days. Sometimes they're 4 days in a row and then 26 days on in a row, right? So it's depending on their program scheduling. 12-hour shifts, 4 days off a month. There would be absolutely no time for me to trade. All the skills that I picked up over the last 2 years, I wouldn't have developed, right? The time that I needed to get hours into the game in 2022, I wouldn't have gotten, right? All the opportunities here, I wouldn't have gotten. I wouldn't have learned. I wouldn't have executed. I wouldn't have bought the right coins. I wouldn't be locked in. So for my skill set of what I developed over my life, it just wasn't feasible. It just wasn't possible. Like, I would have to like demote myself and get some, you know, wagey job. Which I didn't want to do. I just didn't want to do it. I didn't want to get a random job at like a fucking Starbucks or something, or even work as a tech. Like, I could have worked as a tech, but then again, you need additional schooling, right? It doesn't matter that you went to med school. You would need additional schooling to just become like a tech at like you know, like a lab corp or something like that, you know, someplace where they do standard tests like blood, urine and stuff like that. I didn't want to work as a scribe. Those are long hours too. Yeah, 12 hours, bro, is a slave, dude. He's not getting paid that well either. He's getting paid better because he's living in a good state, right? I'm in California. He moved to California, so he's getting better. But like national average of residency, there was no guarantee that I would have like made it in California or gotten residency in California. I could have gotten it somewhere else. But cost of living in California is high. His pay is not great. Like, obviously 3 years from now, he's gonna be making tons of money. But for these 3 years, there's not a lot of money. How do you manage living expenses and trade and do residency? It's not possible. Solana, Thomas, I did Solana just recently, like 10 minutes ago. How many spot bags do you recommend focusing on? 3 or 4? Yeah, less than 5. 5 should be your overwhelming majority. Like 80% of your capital should be in less than 5 coins. If you want a shitcoin with stuff less than that, sure, go ahead. But concentrated bets, definitely better. How would you analyze 4-hour trend on Saga? I missed Saga trades, trying to be too greedy for daily trend. This is where I wanted to enter when we're in this region. It gave me a big wick down, didn't fill, didn't take the long higher, and it's just continuing upwards. This is not a 4-hour trend trade, right? Saga was a 1-hour trend respecter. Something very, very important to notice 1 hour trend respecter, building a composite value, setting a bunch of lows, running all those lows. In this situation, you need to have wide stops or risk tolerance, right? You need to have high targets and wide stops, because if you run the first wick, your wick gets run, your wick gets run, your wick gets run, right? So I didn't like this setup for myself. I knew that this is not a trade that I feel comfortable taking, even though it's a mega outperformer. The only way that I could have mentally taken this long is if I bought in here with not full size and kept bids here. So I would have had to hold this underwater, which I wouldn't have loved to do. Buy in here and hopefully, you know, get a trade in this region. But if this doesn't work out, right, and it just keeps bleeding out, I'm taking a long from here and getting stopped down here. I just didn't like the trade for myself. But this is more price action trading, right? This is such disgusting fucking chop, which I don't love trading unless I'm trading intraday. But for swings, this is not what I want to trade. I have a friend who is here in chat who bought SAGA, like long SAGA, or bought spot, maybe both, all the way down here, and I think he's still holding on to those longs, so GG's to him. Does it say front running me? It is front running me. It's tough. It's okay. Backup plans. This is funny that it front ran my bids by like a penny last night. Literally a penny. We'll see. Let's see what Bitcoin does, right? Maybe a third drive, right? 1 drive, 2 drives, maybe a third drive. Maybe that fills my bids. Let's see what's up. Tough to trade, but SAGA looks good. Long-term spot bags. Yeah, I don't understand the thesis on SAGA. It's just a gaming coin, I assume, but the chart looks phenomenal. It's showing a lot of strength. I don't know what the cycle target, like top for SAGA would be. But yeah, it's trading really nicely. The trade that I wanted to take was just kind of like listing anchored VWAP, right? Which showing too much strength into the listing anchored value area high, right? Confluent with liquidity. That was the trade that I wanted to take and got front run on it. Am I your friend? I feel really awkward, dude. I don't like calling people my students. I don't have the like the ego to do that. So I prefer friend over student. But anyways, okay, we got a few more minutes here. Any last questions? Man, 2 hours flew by today. You guys are asking a lot of questions today, which is unusual for my streams. Usually I just get a bunch of chart requests, like, doc, chart this, chart that. I like straight up love answering people's questions more than chart requests. Because guys, I have a simple system. If you've watched a couple of my streams, you should know by now where I'm going to say to look for setups, right? And then when I go through my list and I go, you know, these are the coins and these are the setups, you can apply it to your coins as well. So when I get a bunch of chart requests, it's kind of like, okay, yeah, it's the same thing again and again. I get kind of bored. I think you guys get kind of bored too. So I really enjoy when you guys come up with really good questions. Where do you see POPCAT going if we do get the Memecoin Supercycle? POPCAT, probably 4 to 6 billion market cap. So like $4 to $6. Dude, even higher, man. I don't know. It's very hard to rationalize a cycle top target for an irrational asset. You know what I mean? Like if I think PEPE is going to flip SHIB, and I think SHIB can go and do another 2x from here, that means PEPE is going to do like an 8x, right? That means PEPE is going to trade well over 20 billion, right? I think SHIB last cycle topped at 40 billion. Can PEPE go to 20 billion? I think absolutely. Can it go higher than that? I think it can, right? I think it can go to 30 billion or 40 billion. If PEPE can go to 30, 40 billion, and WIF is going to go to something like that, and it's hard. It's hard to give these rational, well thought out targets of market cap until you see it, right? When you're in the groove and you see how things are going and you have a framework for it, it's easier to make those kind of targets. But just to blindly throw out numbers, I don't think it's constructive. I don't think it's even valuable to do stuff like that. too far ahead of time without understanding the kind of meta that you're working with when it appears, right? So why was I so willing to take profits on PEPE in April, right? In March 1st and then in May 2nd, right? I caught 2 legs on PEPE. I'm very fortunate to that, which, you know, let me show this before I talk about this chart, right? Let me ask you guys, where do you think I bought PEPE the second time? After selling the first pump, where do you think I bought it? Right at the weekly trend. All right, weekly trend retest and bull markets, very high EV setups. Anyways, back to what I was talking about. The games I play with myself and how I like think about this is my target is a flippening. PEPE just came off and did fucking 10, 20x in 2 months. It did like a 20x in 2 months. It's a top 20 coin. The flippening is less than a 2x away at the top here. If my goal is to sell the flippening, it's 87% away. And I'm up 20x. And I'm sitting here and going, I'm going to hold this full stack for another 2x. Doesn't make sense to me. The evolving R doesn't make sense to me on an asset that can go down 80% in a correction, even in a bull market. All right, it went down 60%. Still a lot. Does the idea of taking a trade for 1 R make sense? Right? 80% up, 60% down. Like, would you ever take this trade on a 1-minute chart or a 5-minute chart or a 4-hour chart? You wouldn't, I wouldn't, no one would. So why would I do that with my spot? So these kind of things become very apparent when we get towards those mania phases. When we get towards those, like when we're in these environments, we can kind of do those calculations as well. That helps me figure out tops in the moment better than explaining this 6 months before it happens, right? So I don't know where POPCAT can go. That's the most honest answer I can give you. I don't know where POPCAT can go. Thank you, Lord of the Pine Cones. Thank you, Simple Break, dude. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Where do you think WIF can go? Yeah, $10. Easy target, right? $10, psychological level. You know, maybe you front run it and top at 8. Maybe you blast through it and top at 14. Maybe you go above and beyond anything that I can comprehend and it goes to 20. I really don't know. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Appreciate the kind words. What's up, Charlie? How high do you think Hex can go? So this is the Hex chart. It could probably put in a 3x move to here. Probably put in like a 3x move to wherever number this is. All right, thanks, guys. We'll call it there. 2-hour stream. It's always fun to see how these things just like wrap up perfectly right on time. I don't know how I talk for 2 hours every week. I don't even know how I have enough stuff to say for 2 hours every week, but appreciate you guys for joining me. Thanks for hanging out. I will see you next week on Monday. Also, let me know before you guys go. 2 things. Hit the like button on your way out if you can, and like at me on Twitter, or maybe even in the comments on the stream stuff, who you'd like me to see bring up as a guest, because I like doing the collab streams with other traders. So let me know who you guys want to see. And also, one last time, Paragon promo, free $100, get your free money. There's the code Paragon. Really simple, really easy thing to do. Make an account, get free $100, dude. And I'll see you guys later.